In the previous episode of Adventures in Trucking with Indiana Jack,
tomorrow I'm counting on a real strong tailwind going across Wyoming, because getting out here I had a horrendous headwind. So man, I didn't get any fuel mileage at all. Well, we're at the port of entry here in Wyoming. It's freezing here, and of course I didn't bring my coat, but trip's going great so far. Good morning. Got to get on 80. Back on 80. We're gonna stop tonight either in Sidney, Nebraska or Big Springs, Nebraska.
our story continues.
We are in Nebraska. We decided to come to Big Springs after all, rather than Sidney. And we've gone 584 miles today. And I am exhausted. Whenever I go over 80 these days, it exhausts me. The winds, actually the winds here are worse. The other day, 2 days ago, I think 3 or 4 trucks blew over here because of the wind. Now we're not going to blow over because we're heavy enough, but by golly, if we were light, I'd be getting off the freeway here. We're at this old Bosselman's. After it was Bosselman's, then it was Pilot, now it's a Flying J.
In 800 feet, turn right on Circle Moving Dam, approaching the destination on the right side in 550 feet.
And I can hear our potatoes enjoying the cool trailer at 42 degrees.
Approaching destination in 500 feet on the right side.
And tomorrow, I'll explain this to you probably, but tomorrow I only have like 8 hours to drive. So I don't know how far we'll be going tomorrow.
You have arrived at your destination on the right side. Flying J Travel Plaza number 904.
Well, let's go in the back here and look for a pull-through. Looks good to me. Oh boy. You are probably wondering what this clump of wires is. It's my Sirius XM satellite radio. And when you first buy them, the antenna on the back breaks. And this is the antenna. It goes out to the outside of the truck. So then I always glue these in, and then the glue wears out, and then I have to use a pressure sensitive clamp like this to hold it together. So I don't know if I'm going to obviously I'm not going to keep it there, but that's just temporary. I'm going to either get a new one and then go through the whole thing of it breaking and then having to glue it and then clamp it, or buy an installed one in my truck. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but got to do something because that looks atrocious. This is one of the great truck stops still, in my opinion. I've always liked this truck stop. So good night from Big Springs, Flying J. See you bright and early in the morning. Well, good morning from Nebraska. Doing 65. Heading across 80. And we're going to be getting fuel soon. I want to go over the weigh station up here first, and then we'll get fuel. And we'll be on our way again. If you're following along on the map, we'll be going from 80 through Lincoln, over to 29 down to Kansas City, and then across on 70 today. And thanks for riding along.
When I'm not out in the truck on the road, I like to be at home and working on my boat, and spending time out on the water. That's what life's really about, having the balance between the two. At the end of the day, you can find me watching Adventures in Trucking with Indiana Jack. Stay tuned.
We are fueling in Elm Creek, Nebraska. Checking my reefer fuel also. Now I have an additional thing to check because I have a reefer. So we're still good on fuel for reefer. All right, we just filled up and got 5.91 fuel mileage. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I don't know why I'm disappointed. That was through the mountains, so it could be worse, but that's using Kevin Rutherford's Let's Truck fuel mileage software. If you don't use that, you should. It's free. Sign up. Every time you fill up, just put your mileage and stuff in, and it gives you an accurate accounting of what your fuel mileage is. Yesterday, going through Wyoming, I was doing 70, which I usually don't do. But I was doing 70 yesterday because when you're in rolling hills, I don't like to use my cruise control. So I was using my foot. If you're on Let's Truck software, you can monitor other people's trucks if you want. Mine is the Swede. Old Red is on there also. She is Indy Jack Volvo. Just about every fill-up that I did with her is on that software. She is truly a 6.5 truck. I don't know what the Swede is yet. I was hoping for better than 6.5. We'll see. And tonight, we will make it somewhere between Kansas City and St. Louis. If you're following along on the map, I haven't decided where I'm going to stop. So we'll see. Sit back and relax. One of my favorite all-time truck stops here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I've told this story before about Shoemakers. When this was just a cornfield, across the street was another truck stop called Shoemakers. And I might not have this story 100% correct, but it's pretty close. The truck stop across the street, which is a Phillips 66, was owned by one brother, actually both brothers. And there was some kind of dispute with the family, but the one brother decided to break off from his other brother and come across the street here and build this one. So now the better Shoemakers, which is my favorite, is across the street. That one's not even called Shoemakers anymore over there. It's called Don and Randy's Truck Stop. But it used to be real unique also. I like places that have different things and not the same old friggin' thing, you know. Us truck drivers, we wake up in Chicago and go in a truck stop, then we go to bed in Denver and it's the same truck stop. So they're all the same. I always stop at different and unique truck stops like the Shoemaker brothers. Now that other brother doesn't, I don't think he owns the old one anymore. I don't know who does now. Probably Randy or Don. This next little section of freeway goes through Lincoln. It's not a freeway, it's a regular road, and it's about 25 minutes of stoplights. And every truck driver loves those. Similar to Victorville to Adelanto, that part of 395. Or my favorite, Memphis to Olive Branch. Although this is 25 times better than that, I would take this any day over that. I'm sure the people that live here in Lincoln would love to have us trucks out of their city. Well, let's just enjoy it. Next stop will be maybe Kansas City or halfway to Kansas City, something like that. We have 298 more miles to go today. We'll probably be stopping in Boone, Missouri. The pilot there. All right, 3 miles till we merge onto I-29. And head north up to Kansas City, or down to rather. This is the Missouri River. And we're passing from Nebraska into Iowa. Beautiful country here in this section of Iowa. Hold on. Shreveport shaking scale factor 10 there at that bridge. And we're looking for a 5 o'clock arrival time in Boone, Missouri. Not too long.